Let's talk about false prophets. A couple of nights ago, um, there was a little bit of a debate between me and somebody else that claimed to know this book here, and which really irritated the heck out of me, and I will go further into that as we progress along. People seem to have this false sense over what prophets are, and they get confused over the word prophecy. They are linked very loosely together. All right. Now, the reason why I'm coming out and talking about false prophets is for a little bit of clarification into the upcoming Rock and Gem show, because I will be using this reference material here as part of said Rock and Gem show. But first, as stated, some clarification needs to be done first. What is a false prophet? All right. This thing here talks about false prophets all the way through. When you have something of a repetitive nature, that becomes a narration towards an ultimate outcome or agenda. All right? Now then, what is a false prophet? Well, let's first examine what a prophet is. A prophet, back in the days of this time period, they were people of knowledge. They were teachers. They were not divine seers, oracles, fortune tellers, or what have you. Because that is about prophecy, and prophecy is the means of supposedly seeing into the future for the purpose of witnessing future events without even being there. Now then, to clarify prophecies and any types of means to foresee the future, one must understand that you cannot look into the future if the future has not already happened. Therefore, any prophecies that do unfold and become a reality is because they in fact have happened before. And it's just linking in with the consciousness or memory of these events that have already transpired, yet are still to transpire. Confusing? It won't be if you continue on with what I am to talk about and discuss within this video and future videos. So, yes, I am one to take notes. All right? So, first, under just a Google search, what is a false prophet? And as I've explained, they are teachers. Now, this is not to be confused with the educational system and those that are called teachers. But I will get into that for further clarification in the future. So, when you go and you do a Google search, one of the definitions of false prophets are people who claim to speak on behalf of God but have their own agendas. This is through Jesus Film Project, December 28th, 2020. Now, first and foremost, for clarification purposes again, I am not speaking on behalf of God. All right? Do not get confused with that. If you have a problem with it, stop watching now. And if you have any problems with me and my discussions over the topics of this book, don't carry on with my channel. Unsubscribe. That's how firm I am in what I speak of and discuss. The Bible says we should test every spirit because there are many false prophets in the world. Okay, so wait, what? The Bible says we should test every spirit? What is a spirit? I have explained already. The spirit within the body are your thoughts and consciousness. The soul is the battery of this organic body. This quote here came from LinkedIn from July 2nd, 2021. Now, who are false prophets in reality and in today's world? Well, let's look at some of the events of today and the recent yesterdays. Many false prophets. These are those that are meteorologists, and they are purveying the deceptive definitions of what is being seen up in the clouds today. They are the ones that predict the weather. Prediction and prophecy is completely separate. Understand that. And I will get into that even more so, and even on my secondary channel, because that was to become the topic of conversation over there over predictions and prophecies. So I am combining my two channels into one basically so I can cover all of this. Who else are the false prophets? They are the scientists and physicians. They are your media. They are the ones that have provided narratives to beguile you into believing the nonsense over these topics. Many people fell victim under these narratives of deception. All right? And who controlled those narratives? The politicians, the leaders, those that are of authoritative positions that we are supposed to listen to, believe in, and trust. These are your false prophets of today. They are the ones that are telling us what to believe in so that we can follow through with their beliefs, their narratives. All right? Why believe them? Because belief brings manifestations. What are manifestations? Anything of imagination that can become reality. Let us go into the topic of ghost investigations. Have you gotten into watching, or do you know anything about ghost hunting or paranormal investigations? You will see channels that they have great results. Then you have other channels that these investigators practice skepticism. Those skeptics rarely get any type of evidence or proofs of, let's just say, ghosts. And I will be explaining ghosts and other beings or entities of, let's just say, the spirit world. That will come in the future as well. And mind you, this book here tells you that with enough faith and belief, one can move mountains. Okay? Everything that is around you today that is of man's doing is because it originated with his imagination, and anything that man has imagined has become reality or is becoming reality. That is the power of belief. That is the power of manifestation. Now, the more you believe in the narratives, the stronger the manifestations of those narratives, which the more you believe, the more you manifest, and that strengthens their narratives towards their agendas. Religion in itself is an agenda. The words within are the narratives. Now, let's go back once again to what is a false prophet. It is a false teacher. Now, the reason why I want to explain this is because I will be going further, and everybody loves to, use the first book and the last book of this book, the beginning and the end. Now, let me explain something. There is a reason that the books within this book has a beginning and an ending. The earliest writing of this book is the book of Job, not Genesis. They created a narrative, a storyline to have a beginning and ending, whereas the oldest book written is the book of Job. That is a narrative now, so that they can create a timeline. And I will go further into that. Now, as far as my discussion 2 nights ago with somebody that says, well, I am older than you and therefore I know more than you, age has no equivalency into knowledge. And when somebody starts in trying to tell me about this book here, and they are so deluded and living in such an illusion of reality to where they actually started talking about this story here and the apple of the tree, where there is no apple mentioned in the wordings of this book, and they will not listen. They will, even though you can provide the proof, and no, I don't want to hear you out because I know what I'm talking about. If you bring up just the word apple in reference to the book of Genesis, you are wasting my time. You are wasting your you are wasting your oxygen trying to explain to me because you are of no knowledge. You are a simpleton that listens to the rhetoric and narrations of others and not doing your own research. You are not reading. I am not like that. I will back up what I have to say. And that is why when I go into this book here, and I will be discussing the first 2 chapters, creation and formation, that will be the basis of my next video, or my hopeful next video. Things change, events will happen. I might see something up in the sky that needs to be recorded, even though I am no longer a sky observer. I've observed enough. But with my Rock and Gem show, I will be using this book as reference material so I can prove my points, my viewpoints, my opinions, my perspectives, my thoughts, whatever you want to label it. I will be using this as a main go-to because I am firm in my beliefs that this is a concoction, a man-made concoction. It was not through the Spirit of God. All right? And I will prove this to my best capabilities. This is not to sway those that have firm belief in this book or faith in this book. This is to explain what I read and what I get out of this book. And I will also expose my past history and relationship with this book, because that is something else that needs to be disclosed for transparency reasons. I will show my proofs and evidences of my time linked with this book. Now I'm going to keep it right there as far as with the false prophets and prophecies, because as I said, that is more for my secondary channel, for my discussions over there. But I want you people to think about what I am talking about and try to apply it with modern day thinking in comparison with those events that are occurring in modern times and have occurred and will occur. I am one that I predict by using those methods of connecting the dots. I am not trying to provide any new narrative. I am using the narratives that's already there and exposing them for the lies and deceptions that they actually are. That is why we will be discussing future events held in this book. Now I want you to know that it tells what will happen to these false teachers, the so-called false prophets. Many false prophets will be lying in the streets. And who are they? Okay. Now I could have also put in preachers, ministers, pastors, missionaries, and the like. These are the ones that I am concerned with. These are the prophets of modern times. These are the ones that are trying to teach you, to get you to go along with their narratives so that their agendas, whatever that is, their agendas can be fulfilled. This, you might as well view this like I do. It is a playbook, much like the playbook that a coach will use during a football game. That is what a playbook is all about. It is a narrative to provide an outcome. That is this book here. The more you believe in their narratives, the more you help them manifest the future.